James Brooks and Charlotte Park were two of the artists who came to prominence in New York City immediately after World War II. These artists had been looking at Cubism, looking at Surrealism, looking at the School of Paris, which was the height of modern art at the time, and trying to figure out how to do something that would put American art on the map. And what they came up with was what we now know as Abstract Expressionism. I think of Jim and Charlotte as two of the real pioneers. Not only that they pioneered in coming out here at a time when there weren't that many artists in the area, but also pioneered in their vision. I think that coming to the place where the art was created, especially abstract art, gives people a very different, very special kind of appreciation. For people who are not that familiar with abstract art, it humanizes it. When you go to see it in the museum, it's detached. It doesn't relate to where it came from or who it came from. But when you see it and you see the environment where it was made, then you get a sense of the people who made it.
I came over here and I looked at them and I thought, oh my goodness, these are very special things. One, the house, which represents a lot of the old fishermen's houses. When I saw this fabulous studio that was ultimately built, which I realized was a significant piece of mid-century modern architecture, and started looking at who lived here, and I discovered James Brooks and Charlotte Park, his wife, who were two very, very, very significant mid-century abstract expressionist painters. I thought, this is really exciting.
This painting is an explosion of color and energy. If you look at the center, it seems to just radiate out, and the process of the painting leaves tracks, the tracks of the splash and the drip of the paint. And the artist in this way leaves a record of the energy of the painting process.
There's a picture of Jim and Jackson in the studio. This was in the studio in Montauk. He's standing talking with Jackson in by the window that looked out on the water. And Jackson was analyzing it.
He believed there was a great mystery about art, that how it operated and how it affected you was something no one has ever adequately explained. Like, why did two colors juxtaposed have an impact and two other colors do nothing for you? You know, where does it come from? How do we get to that point that we want to put marks or swatches of color onto a surface? I think Jim was one of those rare painters who understood what a mystery it is.
What was the impact of coming out here on your work?
You know, I just burst out. The structure wasn't all that great, but I sure did have lots of fun with color. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is one of.
Did it have for you anything to do with the
yeah,
light out here?
It was very definitely.
How about the landscape? I mean, your surroundings.
I'm sure it was all of this. It was especially the light, and I loved being here.
So you moved into a palette that was basically much lighter and more airy.
For some reason, things began to come together for me in being able to understand the abstract painting.
Charlotte's journal, and it has a whole, look at that, it's falling apart. It's a journal she kept of everything that was going on in their lives, but it mostly seems to be occupied by bird observations. She just loved those woods and everything in it. And the thing they saw the most of were birds, including great numbers of bluebirds. And that's kind of rare. You know, everybody's woods don't have great numbers of bluebirds, but they had a lot of woods that were never entered by anybody. There wasn't a lot of human traffic back there. Well, this is a very valuable document. It just goes on for year after year after year and arrives at decades of observations of birds in the same place.
Welcome to the Brooks Park property. This is the intersection of art and nature. First, I think we need a little story to be told. And that story is really about James Brooks and Charlotte Park and their place and their impact on the abstract expressionist movement that thrived in Springs. And in addition, the property itself, to reimagine and restore it for the good of this entire community, to be enjoyed by all of us. There's one big takeaway about historic preservation. Once it's gone, it's gone.